Coming to paperback and Kindle Unlimited, Isis, All That Glitters. The goddess next door takes on a bikini-clad bank robber in this action-packed, all-new Isis series adventure. Get Isis, All That Glitters in paperback and Kindle Unlimited this March. I picked up the second issue of Omega Black yesterday, and after I read it, I was anticipating the third issue. Omega Black really reminds me of the comics I used to pick up from the newsstand back in the 1980s, in that the story is so compelling you're just waiting to see the days go by until you can pick up the next issue. And I'm very eager to see what goes on in the next issue because Chris L. Brown has done an amazing job with this story and it's incredibly compelling. So I can't wait to pick up the next issue after reading this one because the action in this one had me wanting more. Now, this second issue starts where we find out what happened to that spaceship with the baby in it, and that spaceship travels from the planet Omega all the way to planet Earth, and it lands in South Carolina, where a black farmer finds it and finds out what's inside of it, which is the baby. And the baby, who is the prince of the planet of the royal family of Jafar, and his mother, they find the baby there, and this family finds it, and they decide to take the baby in a scene that was reminiscent of the 1978 Superman movie. So the boy is named James, and he is a part of the family, and is in this family with two other brothers, which is very different from Superman. But we find that the boy, again, he's going to be raised in a healthy two-parent household by a black father and a black mother. And that's one of the things that I like seeing in this comic, was seeing that we saw a strong black family that was unified. We saw a black father and a black mother making the conscious decision to bring this boy into their household and raise him with their values. So this young man is going to be raised to be a healthy, masculine male in this comic, and that's one of the things I like seeing in this comic, was showing us a healthy, strong, positive black family, and that's something that I really enjoyed seeing in this comic. And as the comic goes on, we start to see James starting to learn about his powers, and the way that the story handles it, it really shows us the consequences of having these powers and the responsibilities of those powers before coming to the end of the story. And again, this story is just so good that I don't want to spoil it for anyone because it's just well-crafted writing, and it's well-crafted overall, so I don't want to spoil the story. I want you to go out and pick up this manga because this manga does a great job of telling the story of this Omega Saga, and this sequence that it's on planet Earth builds up towards a more compelling conclusion. So I don't want to spoil the conclusion of the story because I see where it's going, and it reminds me a lot, again, of the legend of Isis, Osiris, and Seth. And this James character reminds me a lot of Horus, and he also reminds me in some ways of Goku and Naruto, in that he's this hero who has this destiny. And the more we get to know him, the more we get to like him, and the more we get to know his story, the more it's very relatable. And Chris L. Brown does a great job on this story. Jesus Pequeño's art is very strong from scene to scene. Everything transitions very nicely, and the art is very, very, very solid. So this is a very, very great comic, and I urge you to definitely go pick up Omega Black's second issue. And I'm also urging you to go out here and support the Omega Black Indiegogo, because the brothers need money to continue raising the funds to pay to complete the saga, and they can only do that with your help. So they definitely need your help with the Indiegogo. I'm going to leave a link to that in the description box, but I highly recommend you pick up this second issue of Omega Black. This is a very well crafted manga. It captures the spirit of Japanese manga and puts a positive image of African Americans out there. And we need more comics like this, and I really want to see more readers come pick this book up. It's a great comic, and you definitely have to pick it up, because this is like the comics I used to read back in the 80s. This is the kind of comic that will just have you wanting to pick up more issues. And I want to see these brothers go out here and finish this saga and get this saga complete, because I believe that this story definitely needs to be completed in comic form, because it's a great story. It's very compelling. It has great elements. It reminds me again of Horus and the Legend of Isis, Osiris, and Seth, with some elements of Superman, Dragon Ball, and Naruto. So there's something here for everyone, and I definitely urge you to get this issue as soon as you possibly can. I'm going to leave a link to Omega Black's second issue. It's available in paperback and ebook format on Comixology, and I'm going to leave a link to both of those in the description box. And I'm hoping you pick up this great comic and support these great creators, because they can't create great comics like this without your support.